graphic bigger?
Yep, I'm gonna put it in presentation mode. I was figuring out. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. So this is the 8 dimensions of wellness. So it's really gonna be a discussion that we're gonna have with you guys. And this concept came to me probably like 4 months ago. And it was really intriguing for me because I think a lot of people think of wellness and they only think of the physical, and then sometimes they get into the emotional. But there's so many components of wellness and they can bleed into each other. And so it's really important that we actively try to grow in each of these areas. So the 8 dimensions of wellness are physical, intellectual, emotional, spiritual, environmental, financial, occupational, and social. So today we're just going to give you a very, very brief explanation on some of those. And Terese and myself are going to share our personal experiences and personal things that we've learned from our expertise when it comes to that, as well as at the end, you'll have our contact information of how to contact us if you need any additional training in any of these areas. So of course, before we get started, it's really important for you to know who's speaking into your life, especially we record these, we put this on YouTube as a tool to share with other people. And so you may be sharing it with someone that don't know us. And so we want to make sure that you know our stories and why we're so passionate about this. So I'll start with my story. For those that may watch this replay and they don't know me, I'm Tashina Gonzalez. I am a certified holistic wellness coach. I also recently got my life coach, so I do success and self-development coaching, but both of those I've been doing prior to having these coaching things, right? So I work for General Motors. I do a lot of training, one-on-one training and group training with them, with a lot of their things. Like this past 6 months, I was working like with some Gen Zers in the Latin American network and helping them with success development and career paths and things of that nature. But my wellness journey took a really sharp turn about 6 years ago. So between 2012 and 2014, I just was riddled with sickness after sickness. And so I first started with high blood pressure and gut issues. And then I was in a couple of accidents in a 6-month period. So I had a lot of body pain with that. And then I ran into hormone issues. So I had excessive bleeding for close to 2 years. And I was being relatively young in my eyes, still in my 30s. I was talking to everyone around me and everyone else seemed to have the same issues. People were getting their body parts taken out of. They were exhausted. They just were a lot of people had pain and all of them were in their 30s. So I just thought, this is not the way that it's supposed to be. I got to figure something out. And I tried to Google my way to good health. And I started making the major changes, right? So I had a lot of stress at the time in my life. Tried to do things to reduce the stress. I started exercising because I wasn't exercising regularly with the job that I had. I joined a boot camp. At the time, I was 190 pounds. With how my height, that put me in the range of being clinically obese. And I did a boot camp, lost 20 pounds in 6 weeks at the end of 2014. And I just tried to Google, tried these vitamins on Amazon, tried this essential oil from Amazon. And that part of it was going really slow. And then I stumbled upon the company that I represent, and the education system that they had changed my life. And I was able to really accelerate when it came to the holistic portion of it. It also really helped me with my emotions. There was a lot of things that I need to work out with my emotions. And even in the past 5 years, going through like a messy divorce, I can guarantee you that if I didn't have the techniques and some of the things that we're going to talk about and some of the tools, I would not have probably done as well as I did. And I probably would have been in therapy, which there's nothing wrong with that. And I probably may still need therapy in the future, but it helped me to really balance my emotions and to function. So that's my story and where I'm coming from. And I'm trying to grow in all of these areas of the 8 dimensions of wellness. And with that, I will turn it over to Miss Terese to tell you guys a little bit about her.
Hello, everyone. I am Coach Terese Teasley, and I'm a native of Pontiac, Michigan. I am a certified life coach. I have been certified within the last 2 years. And so I focus on inner healing and self-identity because growing up, I dealt with those different issues. And so I I took a different route where I did not seek help from a licensed therapist or someone that was deemed as professional. I actually went on a spiritual journey. So I was able to get my strength and grow in the areas that I needed to grow, because I took the route of learning of who I was and then learning who God was. So that's what I did. That's what I focus on. And so that has been my source. And so I'm going back to studying more of the spiritual life coaching, because like I said, I'm a certified life coaching, but I want to know the spiritual aspect, because I like focusing on the holistic. So the whole person, I want to know what's going on mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of those things. And so I have been an educator over the last 20 years. I've also dealt with my weight because of what had happened to me in my past. So I've been healing myself, or not healing myself, but trying different exercise programs, going to the gym. So I do boot camp. I've done many different programs. And so I was tired of doing the same traditional programs. I was tired of doing programs altogether. But then I was talking to Tashina and what she has going on. I said, I should learn more about it. So I'm still in the beginning stages, but I feel like this is what I need while I'm on my journey of still self-discovery and just walking in the fullness that God has for me. So that's the journey that I am and that I'm on. And so I work at a hospital currently in the city of Pontiac, but as of June 30th, I left Michigan. And so I'm traveling. And right now I've only been to Oklahoma, and I'm currently in Dallas, Texas. And then once I leave Texas, I'll be going over to Georgia. And so what I do, I started an online TV show where I go around and I gather people's stories. So if you are driven by your purpose, whatever that looks like, and you want to share your story and you're not afraid to say what you've been through and where you are now, I love capturing stories. And so I created a show, and it's called Driven, Healing the Matters of the Heart Globally, because we want to go around the world. And a lot of times people are afraid of different things. And then with this COVID and things like that, I'm like, I can't let nothing stop me. And so I just want to inspire people by showing them to live out your dreams and walk in your purpose and fulfill the purpose that God chose for you. And so that's where I am. And so I'm like that motivator, that fire starter, and just that one that's driven by her purpose. And I know there's so many people out here too that are driven by their purpose, but just haven't had that opportunity or been given that platform to tell their story. And so I want to help you tell your story in your own words, your own way, without any judging or anything like that. You just be free to be you. So if it's through music, if it's through song, dance, or whatever that looks like, let's have a Zoom conference and let's talk about it. So that's who I am. I'm Coach Terese Teasley. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and I'm really getting into that. So Dreaming by Purpose, I wrote it on the screen so you can see, or you can follow my personal page, Terese Anointed Teasley, on Facebook.
All right, thank you so much. So with that, we'll get into the content. And so this is just a brief explanation of these areas, and then we'll go into a little bit more detail and again, share our experience and what we're working on and suggestions for you guys to work on. So there's the emotional, so that is coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. Financial, satisfaction with current and future financial situations. Social, developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. Spiritual, expanding our sense of purpose and meaning in life. Occupational, personal satisfaction and enrichment derived from one's work. And physical, recognizing the need for physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. Intellectual, recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. And environmental, good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being. So just talking about the emotional wellness, coping effectively with life and creating satisfying relationships. So again, this is something that is super important, especially in today's climate, right? One of the things that people are experiencing is an overwhelming sense of emotions. If we think about everything that has happened from March till now, right? It's just, who would have thought everything that is happening? And so a lot of times maybe we don't actively think about our emotional wellness, but now is the time for us to think about our emotional wellness. And what I love about some of the things that we've done, hopefully you guys are all following me on YouTube, but we did a complete class on plants for emotional wellness, because there are a lot of techniques as well as supporting things that you can use. You guys all know that most of the people on the call here know that I and most of them love essential oils. And essential oils are one of the best ways to improve your emotional state, because essential oils actually hit your limbic system in your brain, which is centered to your emotions. And so it is absolutely something that needs to be used on a daily basis, and one of the best ways to change your emotions if you need to do that at that time, or even to just release your emotions. But with that, Terese, what are some of the things that you do or help people do to have emotional wellness?
Breathing techniques is some of the things that I encourage. And then also for me personally, I do a lot of meditation. So to balance and help with the balance in our body, because like the emotions can be all over the place. So like, as you mentioned, it's a lot of things that we were used to doing and now we can't do them. And then sometimes people be stuck in the house. And so I'll be like, you got to find new ways. Before I found out about the benefits of the essential oil, to just like really, so you can focus on your mind and just keep peace, like find your peace. Sometimes you just got to find that peaceful thing that you need. So whether it's music, whether it's walking, whether it's exercising, and just getting outside and getting fresh air. So that's some of the things that I focus on.
Absolutely. So as you know, we're whole life wellness, right? So I make sure that I exercise every day, and you're right, that is so crucial to our mood. I have a video on deep breathing techniques. We do something that's called the aroma reset technique, where you do deep breathing with the essential oils. And yeah, I'm certified in mindfulness as well. So yeah, all of the things that you can incorporate, especially right now, you want to pull all the tools in your toolbox so that you can just lift yourself up. So with that, I'm going to move over to environmental wellness. So the definition of environmental wellness is living, working, learning, and recreating in buildings, facilities, and outdoor areas that are clean, safe, and supportive of well-being. Environmental wellness also includes being a good steward of the natural environment. Spending time in nature can help you appreciate and feel connected to the natural world, and seeing how your daily habits affect the environment. So good health by occupying pleasant, stimulating environments that support well-being. Now, this is one that I think that people neglect probably the most. So again, the first step is making sure that we spend time in nature and that we are treating nature well. But then in addition to that, making sure that even our own home environments are clear of toxins. So you can see the bottom picture there. It has some of the many things that can be toxic to ourselves. And this a lot of times is a mild source of contention when I'm with other health and wellness professionals, because they're all about the physical, but then I go into their gyms and they have like toxic cleaning stuff in there. And I'm like, oh, you're trying to help people's respiratory systems and you're destroying it at the same time because you have these toxins. So if you haven't thought about this, this is something to put on like your 90-day wellness goals. What can you do to get some toxins out of your home? Because this is going to affect your mental, your emotional, as well as your physical. Even some of like the weight problems we have or some of the mood issues can be linked back to the toxins. And a lot of the sicknesses for sure, our hormone issues that we have, some of our skin issues. If we eliminate these toxins out of our life, we can minimize a lot of these issues. I know my respiratory system was changed when I got rid of candles and plugins, and my skin changed when I got rid of some of the fun, good smell, toxic lotions that I had. So take a picture of this and make a goal to try to get some of these toxins out of your home and to minimize your exposure. We're in Michigan, we drive cars. So you also want to do some detoxing of your body, because you're not going to eliminate all of them, but in your own home, just take a look at one room in your house. Take a look at maybe your bathroom and turn around those things and just Google those ingredients. You would be shocked if you looked up the dangers of some of those ingredients, and then make a plan. It takes a while to have a toxic-free home. I know it took me 2 years, and then I just moved in the past year, and it made it really easy because I was like, I'm gonna leave this stuff. But again, these are some of the things. Food pesticides, if you're not organic yet, fluoride, BPA, lead, mercury, exhaust, ammonia, insect pesticides. All these things we want to slowly, again, it's a process, take out. Anything you want to add on this, Terese?
I don't have much to add, but I do want to say something as you were speaking and doing the presentation. Like, these are things that I'm going to speak towards me. Like, I never really knew that we really had to focus on. So like I was saying in the beginning, I started the programs, the workout programs. So many of them failed because I wasn't doing the toxin, like getting all the toxins out of my body before I started. So it's just like, even just dealing with everything, even with emotions, just like all of that, everything that we go through, it's like, that's toxic. It's a lot of toxins that's in our body that we got to get rid of. So even our surroundings, our house, the rooms that we be in and all of that. So this is a good point you brought up. So thank you for this one.
All righty. With that, we'll move on to the next one. So financial. So this is super important. And one of my friends is on the line, and we did a whole educational thing on this. And this is something that my entire team is always passionate about. My sister and brother-in-law teaches on it a lot as well. So your financial wellness is satisfaction with your current and future financial situation. And the things that you're going to focus on are making sure you have a budget, essential expenses and take-home pay, making sure that you're getting out of debt if you're in debt. So your debt payments to your gross pay is the way that it needs to be, making sure you know your credit score, making sure you're aware of the types of debt and what are good debt and bad debt, and make sure you're eliminating that bad debt. Savings, such as your household assets, annual savings rate, and pension, and then protection. So making sure you have an emergency fund and all the necessary types of insurance. So again, we talked about a lot of this in a training that I did about 30 days ago, and you can find that on my YouTube channel. So Terese, anything you want to add on this one?
I believe you're doing a wonderful job. But as a life coach, that's what we focus on too. Whatever the client is in need of, we create a plan, and then just I'm that enforcer to make sure you do it, because I'm your coach and your motivator to say keep going. So thank you, Tashina.
Awesome. Now, this one is our intellectual, and I know we're both going to have a lot to share on this one. So this is actually recognizing creative abilities and finding ways to expand your knowledge and skills. So thankfully, early on in my life, I had a psychology class in college, and I also had an experience with some friends, and they were like, you're kind of negative. And I was like, no, I'm not. And then they kept asking me questions, and I was like, I guess you guys are right. I am negative. And so I started on a self-development plan and reading books and doing different things when I was in my early 20s. And so if you don't have a self-development plan, that is something that I would encourage everyone to make sure that they have. And these are the things that it's going to help stimulate in you and help with your creativity, your thinking skills, making sure that you have clear goals. It's going to help you with your time management, critical thinking, stress management. That intellectual wellness is connected to your stress management. And then it's going to help you with your learning style, counseling of others, reading skills, your self-confidence and self-talk. So self-talk is super important. Having a rational approach to life, your self-image, and your self-knowledge. So Terese, how are some of the ways that you incorporate intellectual wellness, and how do you help others develop it?
So basically, because like I said, I'm that person that really goes into the spiritual aspect. So I, for one, really focus on doing the what did you just say? When you first started talking, what did you say? Do the self-developmental plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what we focus on. That's the most thing we need to focus on. So as a life coach, we focus on the self-development and then the identity piece, because so many times we don't know who we are. So just be trying to build that person that's in you, and really so you can know who you are. And so like with the goal setting, the time management, the critical thinking, and then the stress management, that's the things that we really focus on. So just creating a journal, and then not only the journal, but just going back over everything that we discuss in our meetings and things like that. So so that's what we work on and focus on, really. Now, the self-development.
What tools do you use for like the self-identity? What tools do you use in that?
I just have I follow like a plan. I follow some other life coaches, and so I
Mm-hmm.
just use the different tools to identify who we are, and then like things like people used to say, like the images of what they wanted us to be, are labels and things that they place on us, and so we said we'd be the opposite of whatever somebody says. So if you're ugly, if you think you're not beautiful, we reinforce it with positive words like affirmations and things like that to make sure that you know who you are and believe in who you are. So that's what I
Awesome.
do. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. I use
Mhm.
a lot of personality tests like strength finders. And that's one of the things that I really stress, like with the people I'm coaching at work and stuff, like I was working with one young lady and she was talking about how she wanted to be more extroverted. And I said, no, sweetie, I don't want you to be more extroverted. I want you to be the most confident,
Mhm.
amazing, awesome introvert that you can be. If you're introverted, that doesn't mean you can't public speak. That doesn't mean that you can't do certain things. You can recharge your batteries and you can be brave and I don't want you to change who you are. I want you to stay true to the core of who you are and become the best version of you. So I love that.
Yeah, I do too. I love what you just said. Mhm.
So then we have occupational wellness. So this is seek to have a career that is interesting, enjoyable, meaningful, and that contributes to the larger society. And so we want to have personal satisfaction and enrichment from one's work. So this is a really interesting one because I think most of the people in here have a side hustle. So it's really important that you do have an occupational wellness. And sometimes you get that from different camps. So I happen to love my job and I love my leadership and I feel really blessed to be where I am. But at the end of the day, facilities management and car parts is not my passion, right? Like I feel like I work for the best car company in the world and I will defend them to the end of the earth. But it's not really my passion to get more cars out into the world. And so I have on my spiritual side, I do volunteer Bible preaching in Spanish, mostly in the city of Pontiac and surrounding areas. And that's very fulfilling, and that's volunteer and not paid. And I've done that forever. And that's the most fulfillment that I get. And then I have my side hustle. So with my side hustle, I'm able to do holistic education, holistic wellness. And it's just been amazing. It says about contributing to the larger society, to see people first, my own journey of being able to go from being obese and having 7 medications and having mood issues to 5 years later feeling better than I did when I was in my 30s. Like I feel like I'm 28 now. And able to take other people on that journey. Like it's very, very fulfilling to see people grow in their self-development as well as in their physical wellness month after month after month.
Mhm.
And how do you help people achieve occupational wellness, Terese?
You know something? I'm going to be honest, because I'm in this area in my life where even though I'm a certified life coach, I have done so much and I'm still doing so much. So I haven't been able to work with anybody just yet because I'm still trying to master that for myself, because I'm a community health worker. I'm a life coach. I'm an inspirational speaker. I just started being this TV show host. So it's just trying to find out what works best for me. So I will even tell my clients, like, you got to find out what you love doing that will pay the bills, but it's not about the money. So say if you love it so much, you'll be willing to do it. And then guess what? Things will be attracted to you. So you might start getting blessings from different places and it'll pay the bills. So that's why I say I'm not the person to talk about that, because I'm doing like 12 different things as far as like as your job goes or your career goes. And so it's like, just find what you love to do and do it the best. And don't try
Right.
to do so much, but everything that I do, it all kind of goes together. So it's working hand in hand. That's why I started a nonprofit and a for-profit, so I can do what I was called to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're living the example of making sure that the majority of what you do contributes to the larger society, and that's the important thing.
And that's it. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm.
All right. So with that, the next one is physical, recognizing the need for physical activity, healthy foods, and sleep. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on that because that's what people think about when they think about wellness. But it is important to make sure that you're including all of these and you have a clear plan. We know that everyone sets their goals in January and then usually by March, they're not doing anything. So making sure that you have a clear plan. What physical activity are you going to get in? What eating plan works for your body? Like, don't follow the trends like vegan, keto, whatever. So that what works for your body? Have a food journal for an entire week. See how your body reacts. Avoid things that you obviously have intolerances for. Like, many people have intolerance and allergies to dairy. Like, yes, dairy makes everything better, but I can't eat it. So listen to your body when it comes to healthy foods and get enough sleep, which is something that I'm always working on. So when the world is usually open, we actually usually have mindful movement classes. So we do a little bit of dancing like no one is watching for the physical activity. We incorporate a little bit of deep breathing and the essential oils. And so that's the picture that I have here. And I can't wait till we can, get back in the world and do that again. But just make sure that you have a clear plan. I know me, for myself right now, I wake up, I do just dance because I love dancing on my Wii U for at least 30 minutes. And midday, I always take a walk. And so I just re-added in the dancing, but for the past 8 weeks, like I had to formulate a new plan. I was going to the gym before and I love my gym and it's 5 minutes away. And I love my Pilates class and I was loving doing the machine weights there. But then the world shut down. So I had to make sure that I had a plan. And so I know I need vitamin D. I go for a walk every day. I've gone for a walk regularly. And I try to do it midday because that's when you're going to get the most amount of vitamin D. But if I don't, it can be 8 o'clock at night. And if I haven't had my walk, I have to have my 30-minute walk. So it's really important to make sure that you have a clear plan. You can't just say, I'm working on myself physically. I'm working on losing weight. It's got to be a clear plan. So Terese, you want to share with us some of the things that you're doing?
Yes. So some of the things that I'm doing is also dancing. But since I've been on vacation, I'm going to be honest, I haven't been doing a lot of dancing, but I've been doing more walking because it's hot down here. And so I got to be inside most of the day. But in the morning time, I'll go outside and I'll go for a walk, or throughout the day when I'm able to, I'll go for a walk, but also just making sure getting more sleep and eating the right food. So I have been on that journey far as the physical, because I want to make sure, even with all of this pandemic and everything going on, you still got to stay active and get the right amount of sleep and the right foods in your body. And you cannot just allow that to slip because it's so much going on and it just messes up everything in your body if you don't stay active. So
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And our next one is social. So developing a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system. So the picture that I have here is we usually yearly travel to an educational conference that we have, holistic educational conference for the company that we represent. And this was our first African-American empowerment event that we helped curate and organize. And I was able to be the MC for this. And so it's really important that we have this connection to other people and we have a support system. So whether you do that in a large group or you just have the people that you have on speed dial that you can get to, it's super important for you to develop this. And obviously in the times that we're in, this has been difficult, but we have to learn how to pivot, right? So I am an extreme extrovert. I like being in person. I have a strong personality. So when I communicate with you, I want to see your full body. I want to see your body language. I want to be able to react and know if I need to calm down. Like, I don't like Zoom. I don't like just seeing people's heads. I don't like, people could be tapping underneath and they could be nervous and I don't know. Like, I want to see everything, but it is what it is right now. And so Zoom is the way that we connect with people. Zoom is the way that you have your coffee dates with people in your own house. A little bit, we can sit outside 6 feet from one another and have a chat a little bit, depending on what areas you're in. But it's really important that we are making those connections. We are being with like-minded people. We are making sure that we have that support. The social support is really important. It's one of the reasons that a lot of people actually fail at their goals. It's one of the reasons why having a coach is important. Like, I personally have a coach that I work with. I'm doing group coaching and I do one-on-one coaching. that social interaction, that support helps you achieve your goals faster. So I know this is one of your areas of expertise, Terese, so you want to share on this?
I do, because I also, in my day-to-day job, I deal with individuals that they have a lot of health challenges or just issues, and so they need that social piece. And it is so important for you to call and check on your loved ones, and even if you can't see them, please just call, because you just never know what somebody is going through. So that social, because we need it. We so used, well, before the world turned to what it is, it's like we used to be in on our phones. Some people, I'm not gonna say everybody, but a lot of people would just text or call. But now that's all you can really do, unless you're like me, go travel in the middle of a pandemic and still go see family members. So I'm still using the safety measures, but I still get to see them. Because like when after the first like 60 days of being locked down, I said, I have to get out of this house because I'm used to being outside. So when I finally got to hug a person, even though I'm not telling you that's what you need to do, but I needed that, because I know me, I'm a person that needs that interaction with somebody else, because I love people and I love to give of myself. So the social piece is needed now more than ever, because a lot of people, because they can't go to the doctors, they can't go to counselors or therapists or to a life coach in person, they have to hear them on the phone or see them on Zoom or just whatever outlet you need to see a person. But yeah, the social piece is so detrimental right now. We got to make sure we stay in contact with people, even if you can't go see them physically.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely have to pivot. I know I had to pivot. Like I said, we have our spa parties, we have our perfume parties. I'm used to getting together with people and just had to be like, okay, Zoom is what it is now. And being positive about it too, because at the end of the day, I've been able to spend more time with more people in other countries than I ever have been able to. So there's a benefit to what has happened, being able to make connections with people virtually in other areas.
And I like what you just said. I know you switched, but that is so important, because you have been able to do it globally versus just like face to face and in person with people. So I like this part, because we can connect farther than what we did. So that's good.
Absolutely. And then, of course, spiritual wellness. So this is expanding a sense of purpose and meaning in life, and finding meaning in life events demonstrate individual purpose and live a life that reflects your values and beliefs. So this is another one that people think about, I think, but they just need to spend a little bit more time developing their spiritual wellness, right? Like, have you really wrote down, what are your values? What are your beliefs? That's really going to help you connect in the other areas. It's really going to help you develop your emotional wellness. It's going to drive you towards what social wellness you need, because you're going to want to connect with people that have similar values and beliefs as you do, and making sure you develop that individual purpose as well. And then, of course, there's deeper meanings with this. Obviously, everyone has their own different faith, their religion, and that's something personal to each individual. But making sure that you develop a relationship with whatever you choose to call that, right? Like, I am a Christian. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I believe in one God, but if you choose to call it the universe, whatever you decide to do, that's your personal thing, and that's personal to each individual. But a lot of people use their religion to drive what their values and their beliefs are. So what would you like to add on this, Terese, since this is one of your areas of expertise as well?
I would like to say something as far as like the religion. I try to get a better understanding of people, because the thing is, I know sometimes religion can divide us, but if you're doing it from a spiritual standpoint, you'll get to know the spirit behind the person, to see how we can connect. Because I know life is so beautiful, and if we look at it and like see like love, and we'll get the deeper meaning of life, because it's more deeper than textbooks and all of that. It's like how we are connected spiritually. So I'm a big one on this, and I'm learning more about the spiritual sense, because like I said, when I was in my beginning stage, how I went through what I went through, I went on a spiritual journey, not a religion journey, but a spiritual. I wanted to seek the creator, because I say he's God, but I'm not telling nobody what to call him, because you can call him what you want to. You can say what you want to, but it's just I feel like if I see you, don't matter what color you are, don't matter if you're a man or a woman, you're my sister, my brother. That's what I feel. So it's just like, just really knowing our purpose and our beliefs and values, like you said. And then one thing I have never done was like wrote it out, but I think that's something that I should do. And I'm going to tell my clients too, because that is something that we need to know. So thank you so very much. Mm-hmm.
So that's what we wanted to share with you guys. You know, we usually try to keep these around 45 minutes. For those that have not connected with me yet, you can see on the screen how to connect with me. My YouTube channel is just my name. You'll find the replay of this on there. You can connect with me on Instagram, where I do weekly lives. You can find any upcoming classes on my Facebook page there. And then we do have lots of upcoming classes as well. So this Friday, we actually have a class that we've been doing weekly, which is our home-based business chat. So this is for people to get more information about why having a home-based business at this point in time is so important. And then we have our Plants for Wellness class on Tuesday, the 21st. That is designed for international markets. That's why it's midday. So it's evening in Sweden and England and Africa at that point in time. And then again, our home-based business chat is weekly. And then we're doing our virtual girls' night spa party. So we would love for you to join us for that. You just shoot me over like $10 and I send you some samples in the mail, and we do some face masks together. Again, trying to bring a little bit of that social, even though we got to do it via video right now until we can get back in person. And then we're going to have a Spanish class at the end of the month on Thursday, and that is Plants for Wellness for the summer. So with that, I am going to close this out. I have not been looking at the chat whatsoever. So if anyone has any questions, I'm going to open the chat and look and see if there were any questions. But if anyone has any questions for me or Terese, or just any comments or things that you realized, again, we designed this class. Like I said, I like structure. So I felt like when I found this concept, it gave me structure to what goes in what areas. And so I thought I would share with other people because maybe they needed a little bit structure and clarity on their goals in each area. Thanks, Mia. You have a good night.
Thank you, Mia. I want to say something, even though I know you're looking for comments, but I love this session that we just did. This was my first time actually being able to catch it. And then with me starting on the vitamins and everything, I think this is very necessary and needed. And so I do really appreciate it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, I mean, we got a lot of good feedback and comments. Carrie, did you want to share something?
Just want to thank both of you. That was great in putting all those 8 points together, because it has to be all of it, or it isn't the complete picture.
Yeah.
Our bodies, our organisms are all intertwined and connected. So it was great highlighting each one of those. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I'm happy that it gave other people clarity like it gave me clarity when I learned about it. So I'm not going to...
Christina,
yes.
I have a question. On the 8 points that you have, do you have it so that I can hang on to those 8 points? Because I know there's some that I need to incorporate into my life, because I ain't touching on all 8 of them. Mm-hmm. But I don't remember everything that you said.
Yeah, so I can send you the PowerPoint presentation, plus I believe I put an article on each of the points in the event. So if you go back to the event, you can find like an article from a reputable source on most of the points. I might not have put a physical one in there, but.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that was a great graphic. If you don't have it already in the discussion on the event, that would be a fun one to add.
Yep, the one that has the little definitions, I can definitely add that in there.
I appreciate you both, ladies.
I appreciate you too. Thank you.
All righty. Well, with that, I'll let everybody get back to their evenings. Again, the replay will be in the event as well as on my YouTube channel if you don't hop back in the event. And I thank everyone for joining us. Have an amazing evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Good night.
Good night.